Hello, everybody. I hope you're here and happy and ready and understanding that life gets better and better. So they've got a couple things they want to talk about this today before we do all the healings. And they also want me to get the set up the computer so I can actually see you guys. And I'm like, okay, I'm off for that. So now I just gotta give me a second. I was trying to do it beforehand, but I feel like I don't need to explain this. You guys can know. And I'm like, okay, I'm up. It's those radio days. You cannot sit there and what do you call it? Let the online radio go blank. You don't want it to go blank because that would be not good at all. So you don't want to lose any listeners. You don't want to lose anybody. So you have a tendency to chat and you talk and you fill in the blanks, and you got only a matter of seconds before you can capture your audience and what's it going to be and how are you going to do it. And so I haven't quite figured out how to do all all the components that I want done. I know it's like I'm not sure how I want it done. So what that means is it's like, where do I go? How do I set it up? Where, can I? So that's is where I rely on you to help me to put into groups. And Facebook has made it harder and harder and harder for people to, to naturally or organically to put information out there. So you can put it out there, but I've got almost 5,000 people on my list. I see the same 3 every day. And if I don't go searching for them, they won't bring it up. And it's just, to me, it's weird that that this is the way it's got to be. So I moved to TikTok. I'm staying here because that's where the videos and stuff are at this time. But I've gone to TikTok, and now I feel it's important that I put out 1 minute there. And at the same time, I'm believing that it's important to put out the glossaries, because you only get like 1 to 3 minutes. So it's going to be a challenge. The equipment, because everybody's camera does this. I've got a phone that does not do the mirror effect. So with my asymmetrical face, it looks rather bizarre to me. And I'm going to have to find another type of phone or that has the mirror effect, or I'm going to have to find a camera. But, you know, what can you do when you budget only certain things and you already have a phone, you have all these things. So what do you do? So this is where you turn to the third option. And, you know, what people have asked me, well, what is this third option? And well, you know what it isn't, and that is usually what you may not be paying attention to, the things you say and do. But at the same time, it is what you want it to be, but you don't know how to put the energy from the negative into the good. And at the same time, how do you get the third option? So you're working with your neural net. I'm not talking just the brain. I'm talking about your neuro, and it has to do with receptors on your cells. That's everywhere. We do have free will. And at the same time, what does it mean? And it feels like you have a curse. So this is where the past lives of the idea of levels of consciousness under development. This is why in this life, it's about looking at the deep levels of how a curse or how the past lives were considered. If you did good, you got to balance it out by, you know, this or that, balancing it out. What? We have stopped evolving for a long time because we were doing involution, and we've been doing transitioning, and now we have to turn the evolutionary process back on. So that means we have to change the neural net. The past life of things that are out of sync are now, you know, can you learn? Can you grow from them? Can you stop repeating them? Those things that when you're born under a certain sign where it's unlucky. And so the planet Saturn seems to be against you of all things. So there's all through the ages, everybody has known about certain planetary effects. So what does these planets do? So we have, okay, wear certain good luck charms, chant a few things, don't wear a certain color, understand the Rakakala, the auspicious timing, you know, you understand all of these things, and it's called readjusting. You're learning how to adapt by readjusting, and adapting was fine. But when you started to readjust, meaning you started to rewrite the tech in order for you could wake up, well, that's like an old-fashioned way of waking up. But what does all this mean? It does affect you. Now, if you're new here, just be patient. You'll get 2 minutes instead of 1. And if you feel you can't wait, then just take and message me and say, I'm new, and I will see whether your name is, if you're new or not. And then I will put, we have what's called the timestamp. So at the top of the video, when it's all done, you'll see a timestamp, and then you can go in and find it. Hopefully you would like to watch the show and stay with me, because this is all about awakening. It's about moving into a new direction of thinking, feeling, and being as a human. And you're moving from just not being a human, but as a spiritual human. Yes, I have done something with my hair. It's only on the inside. Just a quick little, see this, there's nothing on the outside, just the old stuff. And then somehow it got in there, but it's hidden, it's hidden. I'm supposed to talk about all these little tiny things first. Okay, so when I teach, it's the translating into, it's doing it. I'm doing my best to take the codes and translate them. So, and at this point, they're readjusting. And if you got questions about certain words, say them, ask them, do this, we will do it together. Some people are like, they like this information, join the tribe. This is where you get all these awesome videos a month, but the last couple of videos, it's been about advanced teachings. And it's like, whoa, okay, well, my playground, I suppose. past lives. See, and it's not just about taking and looking at your past and resolving it out in hopes you get the effect, but you have to understand it's consciousness. You have levels of consciousness that have been immature, and that was due to the involution. Now we're waking up, so this transitional state where we've been waking up, and we have how do I put it? We're waking up to the fact that we don't know enough in that level of higher consciousness. So there will be a set of different immature stage. Now people like, I don't like those words, immature. They set me off. Well, y'all started out as a baby. You grew up as an adult. You move from stages from kindergarten up to going into the, what do you call it? You know, maybe you go to graduate school. Sometimes maybe you quit in between. Don't condemn yourself. On a soul level, you get to come back and keep doing it again, again, and again, and again. So it's very important that we begin to see a few things, because we really want to stop all of this, what do they call it? Well, it's recycling. And it is also, so we've got to break out of this matrix to get to this ascension. Ooh, somebody else is new here. Give me a moment, and as soon as this part's done, we will get to you. So hang in there. And again, if you're new and you can't hang in there, and you're not sure about any of this, then just message me and I will make sure you come to the end of the thing, and you'll see a timestamp at the top of my videos. So Spirit wants you to understand these past lives, you can read them in the now, but it's based on how you're consciously believing, feeling, and acting. Now, how you change your life is to understand how to read the neural net, which is not just your brain, it's all of you. It's your subconscious mind, you're looking at it. You're learning how to not just read it, but track it, but you can also begin to understand the feels, the spiritual nervous system. So Miranda had an experience of a bad storm, and a tree broke, and you know, it's just a tree, right? Yeah, she could look at sentimental value, but she has not been able to understand why she's been crying. She's like, what? And then it hit her. Oh my God, it's association too. Where have I had this feeling before? I know I've had this feeling before. And bam, she sat with it. Now, this is the process of why I'm telling you about this, is that when you close your eyes, you're shutting out the sensory sensual stimulation that controls the way you behave. So you're closing the eyes and you're shutting down the stimulus, okay? And if you tune in, you can shut off all the rest of the stimulus, and you shut off that subjective reality. Or I should say abstract, maybe. I don't know. All I know is that you're going to sit there with your eyes closed, and you're going to focus, which means you're going to go into your frontal lobe. This frontal lobe is where you create reality. But this frontal lobe is also where you can do research. So we have what's called, how am I going to put it? So this frontal lobe is where, you know how a butterfly goes into its cocoon and then metamorphoses into a butterfly, you know, the caterpillar. So take that same caterpillar as you, and you close those eyes, you tune everything out, you tune in, and you focus in the frontal lobe, and you start to do what's called association games, association. And the association memory will be your key to help you see your past lives. or the feels on how you've identified and carried it over in this life, and what you associated it to and associated it with. And when you can get the feels, you'll go, oh, you have to ask the question and look differently. Where have I seen this before? And you start to sit in the frequency that I help you be in. And that's like when you take the classes and academies and the tribes, you are in that field. Okay. You're in that field. And when you're in that field with me, we rise. We raise that energy up, and then that new level of consciousness and different things and different epiphanies. This is why some people will hear what I'm saying, but if you're not in that vibe, you won't hear it. Okay. But at the same time, like I will go on my friend's show and she'll, hey, I want a card. She's like, whoop, she already knows now. Here comes the feeling. Cards fly all over. She's like, oh, and she's aware of it. She's completely aware of it. And the cards just fly out differently and speak differently than if she does other reads for other people. And then as soon as I'm done and I leave, the energy leaves. Okay. Again, it's not Brenda. It's the higher frequency that I have downloaded. Okay. And that's what's important. And so when you begin to get this information and you allow yourself to be in that frequency, you'll be able to work with your higher consciousness. And I had done a diamond class, which I'm going to do more of, which helps set these geometrical diamonds that you already have, but start to activate them and activate them to you, your personal reality, well, I'm going to say that. Your personal identity of your soul matches with the diamond that you're in this particular life. So it's an attunement for right now. So it's personalized, just personalized. It's right here. So it's personalized. And so anyways, it activates and you get into more discernment versus judgment. You start to wake up even faster. Where are we going with the spirit? So we have to understand that when we're using this frontal lobe and we are becoming going inside, because it's kind of funny. Your spine is like a worm. It's got somites, it's got metameres, it has the stories, it has those individual spots, and each segment has a brain of its own, but can work independently or together, and synchronicities. And so when you close your eyes and you're in that space is the consciousness, and you're deliberately focusing, you playing with this frontal lobe, you can learn how to put in new idioms. Yeah, you know what idioms are. You've all heard me say about flippant speaking. We're going to dive a little deeper. Okay, because it is this importance of learning to define certain things in such a way so that you can allow yourself to go into a bigger arena of what you're creating. Now it's funny, where did I lose my stories? Okay, so an idiom expression is like, oh, let's make love, which means to have sexual intercourse, coitus, okay? Sitting on the fence. I'm sitting on the fence today. So that kind of means avoid taking sides. Oh, that's good for nothing. Useless. So, but if we can begin to understand our thinking and our talking, and they may sound like they're innocent enough, but it has built up a matrix of its own that carry a certain frequency that can keep you from evolving. You with me so far? So the antithesis, the direct opposite of what you want, you need to know what new idioms, like easy peasy, new healthy idioms that can, when somebody says, well, how you doing? I go, better and better. And it's not wishful thinking or positive thinking, it's new idioms. And so when you are learning how to use this way of creating a new world, you're creating a new image of yourself. And what you're doing with your eyes closed, whether their eyes are open or closed, you're using the same neural pathways. And so it is far better when you become a creator to close those eyes and understand that you will intentionally learn to use your will in a much healthier manner, and you can create new pathways, and you just need to understand what you're doing. This is why when I'm working with you, you're all about healing, but all you talk about is hell and nasty situations. Great. But you know what also I'm doing? I'm giving you a tool to go with it. This is why a lot of people come back here, is because it's the tools. People say, well, I'm an empath and it just hurts. That's because you haven't learned how to use the tools. You haven't learned how the body, you can take and help the body and communicate with the innate using your will to take and shut off all the extra activity of emotions that do not need to fire. And it can take in a new one. So it's very important that we learn how to use tools to evolve. If we're going to talk and we're going to bitch, you got to understand that's part of your old personality. But you can't create a new reality with the old personality. So if you're like, love complaining, you've been hiding your joys. Where'd my happy go? You've been hiding your joys inside your house. And that means you can be more sadistic, more masochistic. And when you start to see what's happening, because why would you hide them in the house? Well, you don't want anybody to find it. And so you disguise it, right? And so you hold on to these hells and you're like, ooh, I'm never going to forget. That's not going to happen to me again. Because if I remember that it's happened, it can't happen to me again. But I cry bullshit, because your belief system, BS, no matter which way you look at it, controls you, because you're always in a belief under transition, but it never helps you to evolve and become an and. So you can and respect. So while you're holding on to these memories or holding on to these thoughts, you don't know that you don't have no control over your will. And so you'll constantly have these karmic issues. And most of the karma that's happening now has everything to do with, oh, you're hurt. Let me take care of that. And you over pamper or you over love. And what happens is when you do things for something, it's like the prince. And the king would say, well, if you fall down, you got helpers. They'll help you up. And so the prince never learned how to get up. A very simple task, something primal, which is most of us have primal needs. And then I'm not talking sex. I'm talking about food, shelter, warmth, love, communication, all of those things. And something that's simple that does not get developed for you on your own so that you can consciously go, oh, this is how this works, then you are going to end up creating certain commerce for yourself. And when you then create that, and so this is not just, oh, I hurt somebody in a past life, therefore I have to suffer. That's not quite what it really looks like. And it's very important we begin to see these. Oh, good. Someone understood that. Learn to vocalize more. Okay, yes. And then it's all these things. Oh, good. Look at all these wonderful people that are here. So you understand that this is the era where you're learning how to make consciousness. Now, today I look completely different, and I don't know how to really address who's sitting in front of this camera, because every time I start to change myself on the inside, my old way of looking, and if I don't wrap my mind around it, I can go back to sleep and I could undo the things I've changed. But I don't have to put all my emphasis on the external stimuli of what I see. I don't need to judge it. You find the beauty in it. Like right now, Spirit is saying the third option, And it's important that you understand this. And as they were telling me earlier, which I thought was so fascinating. Oops, get the right. Oh, and I've hit it on myself. Okay, Brenda, where would you put it? Okay, so like you have a new idea. And that's like a thesis, a new idea. This is why I think it's funny as I'm writing my dissertation. But this thesis, a new idea, and then there's this tension. And you have, and the only way you can really bring in this new idea to some degree is you have an opposing reaction, which is the antithesis. I said it completely wrong. But it's when you get to that resolution, the tension, the feels gets resolved. So when my friend was sitting there looking at the tree, she realized the association, and she's thinking, and she's allowing her higher consciousness to get to the root. And all of a sudden it was, oh, my goodness, the tree is associated with the anticipation that I know is going to get removed and be chopped away. But it's an association of my knowing that my mother was dying and she will be soon taken away. And because her body is like, it was crying uncontrollably. And she goes, it's like, I don't know how to control this. I don't know what's going on. And all I keep hearing is that she's supposed to play it out. She's supposed to play it out. She's got a higher thing happening. So I kind of was pushed back. And that's what I've seen with many people is that their shit's coming to the forefront. Like I had one person, God love her, she's a sweet person and all of this, but there's somebody that's just as angry and was taking the shit out on her, is going to defame her. And yet she's learning to rise, and she's meant to go through this to see that she's an incredible teacher. And when this is all said and done, she'll have all of these beautiful learnings and knowledge that's just going to pour out of her even more. There's no restriction. She doesn't have to be afraid of being bold anymore because she's gone through it. So out of the new idea and the opposing reaction comes this synthesis. This tension gets resolved, and there's a new thesis, a new idea emerges, and this is that third option. And when I'm teaching these third options, what's happening is that you have to understand all of these things on a I can't see it type world. But the way that the glossary of how spirit speaks, you will begin to see and know what your hell is. Most of you walk around going, oh my God, I can't stand this. But if you were to just to take the simple thing with your hand and place in it right here, just like that, and you learn to measure, how do you know that? And you sit there and all of a sudden, you have your eyes closed and you'll start to feel your hells, all the stories, all of the thoughts, all of the things start to, and you keep your hand there, and you if you stay there long enough, your intention is you're looking at it. Now understand, your hand off, you're still looking at it. You're doing the same thing. Big difference is hand on, you're resolving the chemical peptide, the key that's in this, the receptor of the cell that makes you vibrate in and out of existence in that nature of the whatever emotion that you're in. But their hand here, the key starts to remove out of the receptor, and you begin to become aware of the thoughts. Oh, totally. How do I know? It's totally different now. How do I know? God, it is less. I can feel it less. I can hear it less, and it's not driving me so crazy. And you keep going until it's zero, and you're like, oh, and then clarity starts to come in. But without the hand, you're doing the same thing. But what you're doing differently is you're firing and wiring in that negative state, and you're telling the body that it has to be like this. And instead of just having an idea and then, oh, you forgot it, the glial cells come in and vacuum it up, and you're like, I don't remember what I was thinking. But boy, we can certainly memorize hell. But it's also the process of how we cope, handle, and deal. And it's also how we will sometimes not let shit go. Cancel clear. This is a good thing. It's not shit. But it's like, it's important you get these steps. You won't understand any of this value until you experience it. This is why I'm so determined that I want everybody to be empowered. You can heal yourself. We can work together and heal ourselves together. because sometimes you need another person because you can't quite get past your arrested development. And you're like, I freaking see, and I will get here and I will know it and I will feel it. And I know it's an arrested development. And because I've communicated with spirit enough, I know that souls will raise their hand and to witness or give me the right word. It'll just be bam. I'm working with spirit to give me the third option. But when you really work with somebody, you can get the third option. But if you go out there and you really aren't working with spirit and you go out and you find, this is why a lot of you that come here have everything to do with the fact that your loved ones are always trying to tell you, oh, go heal, go heal. You're not here by accident. Your soul, you finally are going, oh, wait a minute. And you may not even be aware that you've been directed by your loved ones on the other side, or your higher self, or your future selves. And when you start to get addicted to healing, you're not looking for shit all the time. You're learning how to heal the feels and and then you get clarity. And once it comes in, you're starting to, wait a minute, what was I just thinking? What was I going through? What was the trigger? I want this healed out now. Suffering is an option. Joy is permanent. I'm hardwired for it. I'm not taking this shit lying down. I'm taking my power back. And that's what you're doing from the past lives. This is what you're doing, is you're taking your power off of something, even curses, even little things like that. You are not realizing that you had said yes, but you did. And if you can begin to hear the flippant speaking, the way that we were nattering about many things, you can then begin to wake up and say, wait a minute, do I really need to be emotionally attached to this? Can I create something new? And then you'll have those people that are in betweeners or just starting off. You have to have all this nasty stuff or else life won't be joyful. And I'm like, you want to repeat that again? Because let me tell you, you have no idea what it's like on the other side. And I'm not talking death. I'm talking about on the other side of hell, on the other side of suffering. Let me tell you, it's more joy. It's so much better than you could ever imagine that you could create. Every day you wake up with joy and happiness and you're like, how can this get any better? Well, thank you, Spirit. I will take another. And when you start to take, and it's like the Spirit said one time, and I think it was through Mike Dooley, he was talking, and he says, yes, he says, you find pennies, and then you find dimes, and then you find dollars. And every time that you've mastered the joy or whatever the task you're doing, the universe graduate you. And his example was, yeah, you can go to the Gap and work at the Gap, but if you're going to bitch about it, then you're not graduating. But if you go to the Gap and you're like, what am I to learn? How am I supposed to do this? What kind of mood am I in? What kind of thinking am I supposed to develop? And all of a sudden, if you begin to do the task at hand, you will develop. And the next thing you know, you graduated and you get promoted or you get to the next part of where you are. So your thoughts have a lot to do with it. Your emotions have a lot to do with it. And if you are asleep, you won't know you're a program. And when you start to the veil lifts, guess what happens? You will start to notice other people. And if you're an ego, you're going to go point and blame. Oh, look at you. But if you can get out of the ego that I have to be right and I don't have to be, get out, heal that out, change it, you're going to have some more of that power that you lost. You won't have to see everything as a defense and being attacked. You will learn to have more of a benevolent heart. You will begin to be more coherence between the brain and the heart. You will learn how to actually expand your scalar energy or the torrents, the aura, the energy out, and you will be able to affect the people in the room in a good way. Most people do, I don't know. Yeah, if you come with a nasty attitude and you throw that shit around, you will wipe people out. And if your brain is already scattered of energies and you don't Wayne cook it, you're going to get wiped out too. So it's always good that if you can make sure your brain is not scattered, then if a person comes in with their shit, you won't have to be wiped out. Anyway. They love to chat. They love to talk. And they love to teach. And this is why we do what we do. I'm just trying to get back to the right screen of where you guys are. Okay. Now, I've seen some new people here. Are you still here? Because if you are, I will give you 2 minutes. But please announce yourself so that I can do this, because we'll go that way. Okay. Whew. Ooh. Good. I'm glad you love to listen. See, that's the thing. There's a party that's waking up and it's happening. Well, that's interesting. I'm getting someplace. I don't know what it is. MALAWI. I'm getting all these phone calls all of a sudden. Oh, Nikki said the last bit resonated. Thank you. You're welcome. Once you start to take all of these different pieces of information, you are going to have an incredible stance, a difference. You will make something change. So I'm wondering if they stuck around. I don't see that they passed. So I do know that Veronica, are you still here? And if Veronica, or let's see, I saw another person. Are you still here too? Probably not. But, you know, I watch people a lot that come in. Oh, Caitlin, are you still here? Usually what I'll do with new people, even if, you know, as I'll sometimes just send them a card. Just makes it easier sometimes. And I do these little things because some, you know, it's just the way it is. Okay, so remember, I'm going to look to see if there's any expedites. There's not. We're going to look over into the message area, and I'm going to be doing some TikTok 1 minutes on a different part of my phone. And with that, we're going to create some options. And I got to figure out how we're going to do it, because I can have up 3 minutes. So that means probably give you a 2 minute or so read. We've got to figure out who and what. So Spirit will choose them. And speaking of choosing, we are going to, it is after the first. And where's my list? Okay, so I didn't get to put in the box, not all of them. So I'm just going to ask Spirit, who is, okay. I got to find a Lorraine L. Gaskins, because she won the 15-minute. Lorraine L. Gaskins won the 15 minutes. Spirit's doing something very strange and different. And I find it exhilarating. Wait, that's not the one. So to me, that's exciting. Oh, that's right. She told me she didn't want that. That's fine. That's fine. I had to take her out. She's in there 3 times. Okay. So Spirit is telling me that I've got the wrong box, and so I must have put it in the other room. That's okay. Normally I announce who the 30-minute winner is, so but not today, because I've got it in the wrong room. I will put that 30 minutes. And how do you get a chance to win the 30 minutes off the air free with me? And you can pay more, so you can have more minutes if you want. And it's because it's on a scale, it becomes cheaper yet. So that will be announced later on the fan page. Okay. So Matthew, I don't think I've ever read you, have I, my dear? Because I could give you a, what do you call it? I seen that you liked and shared, which your name got in the box, and that's how I know, but I don't think I've ever read you. So I'm all about wanting to give the 2 minutes first real quick. And yes, I can see your comments, Bobby. I can see all of those right now. So I do have an order of how Spirit likes to be done. And when Matthew, if he does respond, that if he would like one, otherwise I'm going to go over to the 1 minutes, and let's start off with Miranda. Okay. All right. Now, what's interesting is that I'm supposed to go back to how a past life energy about helplessness. How you know this and now is that you feel incompatible, but you don't see it that way. You've just like, yeah, whatever. You've learned to maneuver to say, hey, I don't really feel helpless. I can define incompatible. They wanted you to look at how you put yourself in an adjustment, not an adaptation, an adjustment that's compromise and that's self-imposed limitations. They're saying if you can bring it into your mind about how aggression seems to be used in this, then you will be able to get out of the monotonous of the energy that I don't know if you're aware that's there, but it is ready to be taken out. And they said there is a confusion right now. Okay, so your nerves are not knowing exactly how to connect with things. So I would say give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. Some of you will have really deep, because it depends on where you're at, and some of you will be here. So we're going to look over to Nikki. Now, Miss Nikki, self-soothe. I said, the way that you self-soothe was that you readjusted. So we're talking about the age of 3. Now, they're definitely pointing out about how the, in the neck area, there were so many lies that had been told that you thought were truths. And now they started to control you in a certain way. But there's energy of some of this that got dumped and it's causing problems in your C5 and 6 area. And I said, well, what's the chemical dump? And they says, well, it's this, it's causing incompatibility. I just can't do this anymore. It's a repulsion and incompatibility. And it's just that I've gotten to the point where I shut down. Okay, I'm doing good. But when a certain people come around or certain signatures, I will then shut down and I'm hiding. That's my self-soothe. And they said L2D, because this is more of a mask. And so if you can start to see it and you start healing out certain fields, you're going to be able to see more of it and you're going to be able to move on. Now, Miranda, when you finally start to notice what it is, you can deal and heal the with R2D, the low self-esteem. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Hey, and if you're here, again, I see new people, so give me a second. I didn't, we're gonna go over to April real quick. April, the shutting down emotion process. It was an action that was taken and you needed to do it, but you're holding on to it. So it's not quite going anywhere. They said you were very young and you could be in the situation and it felt like a curse. Oh God, here we go again type feeling. What happens is that when you start to feel this, you want to run and your whole body keeps telling you it wants to run. And now this is what's called a habit field. When I asked Spirit, can we remove this trigger? And they said, yes, but she needs to address how insecure has been defined. And as you start to define that insecure, you're going to notice there's a very specific event that you're hanging on to that you don't want to forget. And they said, when you finally allow that, you're going to notice that you have a contract to learn from it and that you're waking up right now from that auto response. And they said, when you start to do so, you'll do L2D. Okay. We'll go on to Heather Kate. All right. Miss Heather Kate. Have to. Now here's have to. Wow. Okay. Have to. And there's a panic. I can just feel it. I want you to do L2D for the panic and that you have to do it, but you're also doing something else. And what I want you to do is you're going to, if you remember, if not, I will email it to you or I'll message you, but I need you to find that chart. Go on my website. You should be able to find it. Source points, I think. So I can't remember what it's called right now, but you need to rub. And it's, you write down LU9. You need to use a magnet on it and you need to rub the spot and you need to do just the left side. Then you're going to do SP4, also just the left side. And you need to, when you do this, then you're going to need to make sure you call your spirit back into your body 100% where it belongs. Do that at least 6 times. So just in case you can't find my healing page of source points, then understand that the SP, the spleen one, is right here. Okay, and the left side is the only one you're doing. And you didn't need to use a magnet on that, but you do need to use the magnet on at this point right here. Okay, and you are going to make sure you use your magnet or your hand, remember, back or front, and then you make sure you rub that. You got to get the chemicals to calm down in your brain so you can stop panicking, so you can actually heal with L2D. Okay. Then I will get to you guys that are new in just a second, and those that are in the room, I'll get to you in just a second. All right, Lena, Miss Lena, there's a certain amount of depressed feeling. Oof. And it's like, I know I have to readjust. It's not, just take the word and understand. So you're in a conversation, you're in a relationship, you're doing something, and this is so an old program. You go into and you can feel it. You can just, okay, I have to readjust. I got to fix and I got to change myself so that they'll shut up or whatever. But it's a feeling. Even if these people aren't in your space, I want you to feel this. They said, when you feel like, oh, here we go again. And it's, you know how to control yourself in a very unhealthy manner, and it actually is affecting you. So I'd say L2S for you. Okay. They want you to address how, because you know you've got to readjust, and you got to shut your mouth, and you got to shut down your emotions, and then you do whatever is asked of you. Look at it, heal it, and go from there. Nancy, Miss Nancy. Wow. Okay, so there's a false reality that got built upon an addiction to the emotion of pride. They're talking about the age of 18, and it has to do with how you felt towards yourself, how you dressed, you looked yourself, and you're like, it's what you felt. So the relationship to yourself is that where does my happy go? You know, and whatever that relationship is, you are meant to look and say, notice, were you ever treated like an object? Did you treat yourself like an object? Did you accept that you were treated like an object? These questions are very important, because you're like, well, no, what are you talking about? But if you've ever been guilt tripped, you have. You probably don't know it. But if you can wake up and realize, shit, when they guilt trip me and all this happens and I go into self-pity, and they said, once you start catching any of those, measure them, do R3S. Okay. Somebody had a question, I swear to God, but I can't find you. Huh. How did I do that? Going up to Nancy. There it is. Nancy. Miss Nancy. Do you feel that people are withholding something from you? Because it's like your nerves recognize something is happening and you're not quite sure. And so there's this, it's like you got to address an awkward conversation, or you got to address, but you're awkward about how you're going to do it. And I think it's a filter. 2, something could be happening, but 3, you're supposed to look at how you did a trauma response, like a people-pleasing thing. And they said, once you begin to see like those steps, do you become extra talkative? If so, then they would tell me to have you hold left wrist, first position, nice and deep. Pick any of those out, kind of see the pattern. And once you get it, please measure it. Get to that point where you're like, oh, I can do this. Because you have a tendency to want to talk yourself out of doing a certain healing. That's what I feel. Kelly Hansen, behind my right elbow pain. Okay, so she's got pain in her right elbow. So in the right elbow, there's this pain. There's a feeling of inferiority complex. Her right elbow has a lot to do with moving forward, reaching out. your triple warmer is going off over some guilt tripping, whether you heard it or received it. So this point right here, it is frozen from what I can see. So you're going to take a magnet and you're going to, you got like 3 here, 3 particular points. So just put, you know, back of hand, just let it go and then get right in the middle, right there. And get in there. And after you rub that, then you can go ahead and do a triple warmer smoothie. You hold that spot, you can just put your whole hand over it and then do that on both. I would do it on the right side, but I'd also just do the triple warmer on the other side too. And I also would rub that spot. Don't need the magnet. You got to balance out both halves of yourself. Okay. Getting over to, and I'll get to the room in just a moment, please. Oh, how did that happen? Did I even get, there's Nikki and April. You weren't here 2 seconds ago. Did I give you guys a reading? What the heck? April, did I give you a reading? My brain has just went, and then my screen changed, and now I finally found Nikki's. I'll have to look at that later, but I can answer this. I did. Oh God, did I give Nikki's too? My screen is really acting up. Well, I know there was one more person, and then I'll go to the room. We'll go to Smiley. Smiley. Okay, Smiley. To be. All right. What's happening is that, like, when you're walking around, you're awake, but you're still doing how you're supposed to walk your talk and what can I do? What can I do? To be. Who am I to be? How am I to be? And you're looking how to be. That you're taking too much stimulus and too many cues from people and things from the environment. Use your ability. So if you really want to know how to be, just kind of go quiet and focus in the frontal lobe and say, okay, what is that feeling, that why to be? Okay, I know what I don't want. So there has to be an opposite. So you must know what you want, as far as like, I don't want to feel like shit, I want to feel good. Well, you need to close your eyes and sit with it and try to do as long as you can to sit with that feel, but you got to first discover it. So sometimes just discovering it and fumbling around and going, oh, I don't want that. Well, what's the opposite of that? If that feels like that, you can tap that out, use your OMG. And then the other one is to find the good. So your body's looking, where's the good? Where's the opposite? We can't graduate you if you can't bring in something new. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and go towards the room. And the people that are new here, I thank you for waiting. I appreciate that. Why isn't that opening? Thank you. I don't understand it. What happened and why it did the way it did. That's okay. So is the VIWE still here? VIWE? If you are, you get 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if Nikki, no, I would have said her last name. Matthew, you still here? Okay, now, because my screen jumps around too much, I'm just going to call out again. Who's ready? Who's ready for the 1 minute or 2 minute? 1 minutes are for all that are repeated, and the 2 minutes are for those that are new. So the first person I see on my list, I will do. Well, either way, Nikki, we have a timestamp for you. Okay. Yeah. Anyone? Now that it's open to the floor, open to the room, opened up further to the room, I'll take Crystal Allen. All right, Crystal Allen, here you go, hon. Okay, so you have some fear. Your nervous system is you just feel incompatible with something. And I said, well, what do you mean you feel incompatible? And they said, well, when I get really depressed feelings, I begin to hide myself. I said, okay. And I hide myself because I don't know how or what I want to be. And I began to become a little self-conscious about what's the right thing to do. And I just don't know. And I said, okay, your soul is telling me that there's something about you don't feel stable about certain things. And I said, okay. And they're saying that your body is remembering a particular shock. So they said, if you go ahead and start holding R3S and you kind of start feeling those moods that you're in, then just kind of, just allow yourself to feel like if you're getting depressed or any of that, just hold that and allow yourself to measure it. Put on the scale from 0 to 10 and begin to sit there. Okay. All right. Amber, my screen is so small. Oh, she said, okay. Yes. 1 minute. Appropriate. Yes. All right. Miss Amber. There's a certain amount of petrified feeling. And what it does, wow, they just said shit. And now I think it's just shit. I don't know if that's what you say to tell yourself. It's shit. Because it's all of a sudden, when you say that, it like goes into a blaming effect. They are telling me that when you get there, you need to begin to understand that your body's telling you, whoop, we're doing this, we're going here, and we can change it. Because the next feeling that comes out is a longing. And then it creates this cycle to happen again. And I says, what do you want her to do? They said, well, have her hold R3D, because the longing for it to stop, but there's a jealousy that you can't do it. And I feel like you're locked into having to feel jealous. I don't know if it was used to raise you kids, but it's, if you understand what I'm saying, just kind of, Oh, good. Glad you did the healing, Nikki Mendez. Wonderful. Now, Lucci, how you doing, honey? Lucci. Okay, Lucci, look for love. Look for love. Your nervous system is saying that there's a deficit. Oh, they're getting specific. Hold on. I got to figure out what they're talking about. So there's a deficit, less than, a deficiency, a deficit of what? So in the body chemistry, you have an intolerance. So whatever it is that you feel like you can't tolerate anymore, maybe the sensory system sounds or a person, they're saying that if you look at that and you feel that, you can go ahead and begin to stop a particular process that begins that you keep processing over, and it'll be R3S. Okay. And to answer that other question, yes, the classes are going to be happening soon. There's just so many all of a sudden. I'm still believe that I'm going to have to start off at the authentic level. So you have not been forgotten. And they want you to understand that begin to do the healing, and that is going to help you get prepared for, what do you call it? The class that's going to be opening up, and I know you want to come. Okay, so that's why they threw them in together. Now, Ellen, hiding behind. Okay, this is my truth. They said I don't know if you are aware, but there's something when you did is that you kind of felt like you were hiding behind something. You had to, but you're right now, you're at this unconscious level that you don't, how do you get past this? But they said you had a chemical peptide dump. So how many emotions? One particular emotion that doesn't allow the basal ganglia, the part of your brain, to allow yourself to shift certain gears of moving. So, but you're learning a particular lesson with the second chakra to do with relationships and the amount of energy you're choosing to feel like you got to keep some, you have to teach them a lesson on some, you know, just kind of review how you're doing it. They said that because once you start to exert your energy in the healthier direction, then you'll start to feel more aligned. And they're just telling me to have you hold L2D. I think that they said it has to do with exertion of power. I don't know if it happened to you or if you can't exert power, but at that point, because, you know, that's what they're saying. Bobby. Yes, and you'll get a timestamp too. Bobby. All right, Bobby. Ooh. You're learning how to use your intentions. But your coping tools have to change. Your coping tools, how you're coping with life right now, just causes you to play the cat and mouse game, to chase after what you don't want. But you're also chasing after what you think you do want. So you're learning how to recenter yourself instead of being self-centered. And that is your 3-year-old self has like, I want you to look at me. I want you to me. Your 3-year-old to some degree is gone into a victimization and it can't stop looking about what's happening to me. I just feel like you're drifting into this tunnel and it's what's happening to me. And you were convinced to be very discouraged. And so that identity of being discouraged is who you feel like you got to be in this relationship now. And I'll say R1S, right wrist, first position, nice and soft. If any of that resonates. Darn screen. Okay, anybody else in the room? Let me know. We have, okay, we'll go down here. Yes, I understand completely, Amber says. It makes total sense. Thank you. I think it is so amazing how you tune in. Oh, thank you, darling. And what's going on in your life. You're welcome. You're very specific. You're showing up. You're saying, I want a reading. This is what I want done. So. And spirit just tunes in. Stacy, if you would like a 1 minute or let me know. Oh, she's just said that. Here we go. Stacy Sterling. I'm trying to remember. Were you new? Did I give you a reading before? Just curious. See if I did not jog in my memory. So waiting for Stacy to tell me whether or not there's always this 30-second delay. Once before. Okay. So Miss Stacy, are you ready? They're saying you can't figure out something. I'm just watching you going, oh. And it's just, oh. And I'm like, okay. They said they want you to look at the word guilt and they want you to notice how it's used, where it's used, but it has an actual like feeling. Okay. They said once you tune into that, you'll notice how lofty it is and it controls you into behaving. And you are waking up going, but I don't want to be controlled by this. You're starting to see it a little bit more. And they said, when you're ready, you'll beginning to notice that you don't need to stifle yourself anymore because of all that. And when you're ready, you can do R2S, right wrist, second position, nice and soft. You're going to sit like this and you're going to put what I said on a scale. Okay. Put it on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being, oh my God. And sit there in that position. And if you start to take your hand down, put it back up because it won't work if you take your hand off. Okay. So now, let's see. I see a Gemma Marie. All right, Gemma. We're going right to the heart. This is something I have to what? I have to. And this is something about self. I have to. Something around, being around the home, And there's, I'm going to say the word remorse about something. I don't know what it is. And they said that you're just replicating a moment you had when you were about 4 years old. And there's another way of processing you bringing up, and that's your 3-year-old, and it's sitting on your nervous system. And it's the way the signals that you have from the outside world coming to your space. And they said you're ready to start to release some of this. And it's the R1S, okay? R1S, right wrist first position. And the key word is keep. Your word is just keep. And whether you need to keep something or you feel you got to keep them around the homestead, this is your job because you're female, that's it. I need you to look at that and notice the belief and the energy to which you feel like you're like, I'm hitting my head against a wall. Why aren't they listening? If I wasn't here, you'd have to figure it to do yourself. But then you have this control system from the paradigm that tells you that you have to do this because you're the girl. Okay, keep, heal it, spot on. Okay, heal it, heal it. Is there any other spot? No, you are learning how to stop readjusting. And oh, yes. Again, when you're holding R1S, I want you to notice how that it just kicks in as a compulsion and you readjust and you're like, what? Okay, that's what you're supposed to heal. Miss Patricia Hinson, you're looking at your insecurities and you're beginning to note and contemplate, they said. And they said that now you're like, the have tos, you're starting to define it as like, I have to? I think you're finally feeling that push that says, I have to? Hold on. So you're contemplating. And they said, while you're doing that, you're starting to notice that you're working and you're like, I have to? And what you're doing doesn't have to really be that to what you're thinking. And they said that you're waking up spiritually. And you have this, I don't know if you know that there's underlying depression type of feeling, but they said you're going into spiritual debt, which has to do with feeling hopelessness. How we get into spiritual debt sometimes, R3D for you, sweetheart. Right wrist, third position, nice and deep. When you, like, your spiritual debt has to do with the fact that you don't know how to be really bold. You know how to do certain things. You just can't let that part go so that you can let that energy back in and just be bold and be yourself. You're still doing a readjustment way of living. Okay, we're going to go on to Stephanie. I'm going to butcher your last name, but it's Bielefeld. And Steph. Oh, wait. People break me in the middle of these. And was it a 1 minute? Well, I'll get back to you in a minute, but I will give you a 2 minute because I've never read you before that I can remember. And we will make sure she gets that. So Steph is what she goes by. And you are going to, so out of the 6 things that we have, okay, safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, space, and all that, they're saying they need you to really begin to focus and how the insecurities kick in. You may not be aware of how it kicks in, but your brain starts to process about what you got to do. You feel insecure. And so it makes you get to be either lofty or pushes you into doing something, maybe become more physical or something, but it's got this nature of pushing. And there's a part of you that puts it out there energetically. And I don't know, I think you have to actually have somebody push you or bully you or there's something strange happening, triggers something or whatever. And you kind of have sorrow, like, I don't want to do it. And you have grief that you have to do it. There's a process going on here that seems, and there's a relationship. And I can't tell you if it's the same story, but because it looks single. And then all of a sudden it's like, it has all of these superpositioning. So I can see them everywhere. But they're saying that love is a weapon. So I think the key thing is that how people use love and how love is used as a weapon. Like, I was going to withhold sex, or, you know, I'm not going to give you a hug until you do your homework, or I'm not going to give you praise, or I'm not. It's like there's a reward and punishment factor that comes along with this. And so what? How to be myself? How do I get to be myself? Okay. A part of you needs to learn how you treat yourself, towards yourself. How is it that you have habits that is towards yourself? And they said what your habits are, you're holding on a particular pain of when you were scorned. Now, the scorn came about when you were 5. And so if you're like, well, I don't remember that. But if you have anybody in your life that uses words to scorn to move you, you actually can begin to heal that. And they said that if you wanted to, you'll even look deeper about how it's invalidating you. You can use the OMG. And because you're new, I usually don't do this, but I will tell you, grab your right wrist in that first position, nice and soft. And you're going to sit like this. If anything I said registers, and how you'll know is you'll measure it. Yeah, it's still there. Okay, just keep healing. And then, oh, I feel different. My thoughts, everything. Then you know that you can move on. Okay. All right. Hey, Sonia. I just did a pay it forward. A pay it forward. We love pay it forwards. We have a pay it forward, people. Do you know what that means? Oh, that means some doozies. Okay, if you want to be in the, you know, pay it forward. Anybody that wants to play, you get 8 minutes. Courtesy from Gemma. Gemma has done a pay it forward, and now the paying on the gifts. So we're going to play in just a moment. Let's just make sure. Oh, hold on. Oh, I just have to check here and see. We're going to play elevator music. Oh, excellent. Okay, looks like I got everybody in the room. All right, if you guys are ready to play, whoever is, you know, if we feel like we want to go out and, you know, share, and so we can get more people in here, that's great. If not, we can take whoever's in the room. And how we're going to do this is that I have a number. And all you have to do now is guess between 1 and 30. 1 and 30. 1 and 30. And if people have shared, understand, your name will go into a box. And if you love, your name will go into a box. If you share them in groups, they show up easier for me. If you share them, if you share it, and sometimes they don't tell me if you do it in a private set of things, but I appreciate all those, and I do my best to. Okay, so nope. Whoever wants to play. Well, Crystal, if she's the only one that plays, that's all right. But yes, we have a pay it forward. Anybody here that if you get it, it's the pay it forward. Start guessing. If you want to be 8 minutes on here, you don't have to use video. You can just use audio. It makes it easier, but we have a pay it forward. Somebody was kind enough, Gemma was kind enough to pay it forward. So we're just going to look and see if there's anybody else that wants to play. Let me just double check here. I'm not missing anything. Okay, nope, I did not. Sonia, did you want your 1 minute? You know what? We're going to give those people, you can guess more than once, that's true. Miranda, do you remember those people's names? I think there was a Nikki Ebler. Who was those people? I can give those 2 minutes. I would like to do those. And normally I don't do it, but Spirit tells me, it's telling me that they had asked or were present. And Caitlin, let's see, SULAIS. So I'll screenshot that so I don't forget. Oh, I just shut off my phone. Dang it. Good one, Bren. Okay, so we'll give her a 2 minute read. Oops, that says 3. We're getting close. All right. I'm going to give a 2-minute read, and that is for Caitlin. There is an inferiority complex energy, whether you are inferior or somebody else is inferior, understand that dynamics. Then there's a certain amount of indifference. And they said this indifference feeling is what makes this keep going. And you don't, you may not even be aware of it because you're so used to it. They said, I think you're beginning to wake up. As you're waking up, you won't know what that feeling is. But they said if you look towards that feeling, you're going into an automatic habit of giving something. Like the way people communicate is that when you say, oh, yeah, I'll do this for you, and then you can't get out of it. So it kind of makes it feel like you're helpless of the situation and you're like, yeah, this is the way it is, but it's not true. They're saying, Caitlin, that you can go back and you can begin to heal the feeling about how whoever it is that you were with, that you gave up your expectations. They said, if you know that feeling of that, then you can start to begin to notice that guilt tripping goes along with it to get to that feel. And they said, when you're ready to heal it out, you can start off with a little R3S. So you'll take your right wrist, go 3 down, and then you put your thumb nice and soft, finger in the palm, wrap these 3 around, and place your hand on your head like this. You're touching it. And I want you to put it on a scale from 0 to 10 of how that particular feeling is. Because you at times will like, well, I can't figure it out. Why is this happening? And then that's you that's trying to wake yourself up because you forgot. Okay. You're like, I forgot. And wow, just put it politely. Somebody gets hysterical. Either they do or they push you to the point where you're like, fine. And you don't mean because you just want them to stop. Okay. So I feel like they really push it to the edge. Again, R3S. And I'm going to get to the right screen. And let's see, I do. Hi, Thor. How you doing, hon? I do not see the winner yet. If I don't think I do. Nope. Okay. Excellent. 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 Okay. I'm going to go to the next one. I think it was Veronica. There she is. Okay. So I'm going to, we will give her a read and then I'll look back up. No winner yet. Okay. Okay. So Veronica, that's my daughter's name, by the way, too. Suspicious. Holding on to suspicions. No, holding on to, they said there's something that they're asking you that you're ready to heal from, or you're in the middle of a healing and you got a healing crisis, but you can't seem to let go of. They says, because they're using the word holding on to. If you were getting into the middle of this healing, I want you to just go, wait a minute. Where have I felt contempt from somebody and I felt very awkward, and which then kicked in my timid, which was to lose courage. Where did I see this before? How do I know this? What is it about? Because when that happens, an ungrounding occurs, and the way that you begin to feel is that it puts you into and vibrate yourself into an overtime hopelessness. And when that happens, you're doing your best to recover. So then all of a sudden you're hiding. You're hiding, you're shutting down your emotions and you're hiding. You're like, I'm not playing this. And then all of a sudden you become very self-conscious, and so there's a part of you that feels a little bit vulnerable. And then somehow I see you recognize it, but then it creates this repulsion compatibility, which means anytime there's a trigger in your space, you may start to physically, mentally, emotionally start feeling off, at unease. And your body will start telling you and you don't understand it's a messenger. So you start telling you. But you can feel it as worthless because the self-talk, I can hear the self-talk. It's like, ooh, I can feel the self-talk. And it's like people expected you to be there for them. And it's just, anyways, if that rings true, understand that you can heal this as well. You don't just have to know it. You can heal it and get those feelings down. Simple tool of OMG or something very specific. And it looks like somebody won. Excellent. Excellent. It looks like it is Sonia Aguilar. Awesome. Sonia, you have won. Excellent. Now I'm going to make sure. Oh, that other person, it was VIWE. I'm just going to take care of this one. VIWE. Okay. I don't remember the last person's name. Ooh, there's also a Nikki Ebler. Hold on. We'll do the, let me take a picture of this. I'm going to do a Nikki Edelburo. I know I butchered your name wrong. I know that. Who is that? Oh, yes, there's the other one. So with VIWE, wow, the space is all blaming. I mean, there's just like blames flying all over. If they were darts or whatever, wow. And then all of a sudden it is like, this is my nightwear, bitch. It's like, I'm like, whoa, wow. And so then all of a sudden it feels like how you cope, handle, and deal with it, you're just like repressed it, you know, time, repressed it. And they said when that happened, you kind of go on self-consciousness. It's like you've repressed it, but you can feel it. And so you become self-conscious that you're getting blamed for something. So something got lost and now it's being redefined over and over. Why do I keep playing with my hair? But a certain amount of incompatible feeling becomes out of that. And again, it redefined itself something completely different. And there's a certain thing, I expected that. So you're in a restricted mode now. And when this happens, there's a certain amount of despair, look up that word, and something about work and how the emotions are used as weapons. Maybe it's reward and punishment thing. But because you don't remember this, and they said this started at 2, and then I asked if there was another point, and they said, well, 7, because now from 7 is a different point, and that's when you became an auto response. But this emotion is like, what about me, that sits on top of it. So it's a stacking. And you're like, I'm not going to behave that way. Or somebody looked at you and said, I'm not going to behave that way. So I don't know. There's all this blaming going on. Wow. Definitely to start you off, I would tell you to do EFT. I mean, my whole body is like annoyed by everything all of a sudden. It's like I don't want to face something. I don't want to feel something. So that Nikki, what did I say her name was? At E, starts with an E. Nikki. All right, she gets a 1 minute and then we'll go on to that. So Nikki, criticism. So you're so used to listening to the criticism from people that when people start to give you feedback, it sounds like criticism. Or you know how to really diffuse it. And I feel like you get readjusted. It's like you have to readjust yourself because you see them going there. I watch this one person, I can see them and they're jealous and they're accusing you of something, but you're like, so you have to readjust yourself. And everybody you thought was supposed to be there for you, you are always there for them. I'm not sure but I think there's a wall up. I think that there's a wall up that stops you. And I don't know if you're even aware that you're obsessing about a particular thing that happens in your life. And it just seems to perpetuate it. There's something going on there. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I will make sure that those people get their reading. Okay, so Sonia, I'm going to give you a link, dear. And you don't have to use the video. Lost my screen altogether. I don't have to use the video. You can just use a voice only if you would like. And I just have to get to the right room. That's not it. La 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 la. We'll get there. We'll get there. So okay. Just remember, tribe is a good thing, a good place to start if you really want to move forward and to it's just you don't get fluff and stuff. You get deep stuff, and you get to ask those deep questions. If you really have any issues, you can really allow yourself to grow, because you need the glossary. It is a stepping stone. A lot of people that want to just come right into an authenticity class, and they haven't really understood about the two mindsets, and then there's the two states, love or fear, or that leads to heavenly state or a hellish state. And if you really can start to define the ego mindset and the spiritual mindset, you will start to open doors for yourself, because you're going to then be able to use your higher consciousness to start see, holy crap, because there's a whole glossary, a whole things that can be in place. Okay, so let me get back there while we're waiting. Holding on to things. Now, this is probably going to lead up to what we're going to talk about, but the holding on to something, whenever you got hurt, you held on to it. No matter what you did, you held on to it, the pain. You took and you marked it, you over-identified with it. It has the information substance, it has a cell with a receptor, and it locked in, and you started to become vibrating in and out of existence with that emotion, because emotions are the link between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And when you begin to understand that, you have the ability to change the vibration, take the key out. You can even insert healthier keys. You will then be able to start to create a healthier life. Okay? You'll be able to address it differently in a much more healthier way. Whoops, here we go. All right. So, for all of those that, what we're going to do for Tuesday, next Tuesday tribal, or Monday tribal, whatever it is, we're going to watch Ghetto Physics. It is part of help you awaken and learn about the archetype energy that influences your decisions about how to live and what you're supposed to develop and grow into that third option. So like we have the 4 archetypes that we begin with, all of us, that has to do with the self-sabotage, okay, or saboteur, child of many faces, and that can be from the divine child to the natural child, many faces. And then we have the prostitute, and we have the victim. And with those, they go from one extreme to the other, but it is in the lessons of not holding on to those emotions because those emotions that you hold on to will cause you to be in a state where you're going to vibrate in and out of existence with that. Now, if you want a better, healthier reality, you have to understand the old personality is based on these things. And the only way to really change that is to change the neural net. Changing the neural net actually can be easier than you think. And part of what's going to happen in the academy is learning how to track, learning how to become. Okay. So we're going to get the mic on for Sonia. Hello.
Hi. I was having technical difficulties.
It's okay, but you finally got here. Yay, spirit. Okay, so we thank you, Gemma, for the pay it forward. And
Yes, thank you.
now we are going to say, how can I help you?
I don't know. I saw you mentioned about past lives or like.
Okay. So when I'm looking at a particular past life, everybody wants to know what they are, but here's the thing that you need to understand. Your particular past life has to do with a certain type of way that you emotionally repress something. Okay. And I said, well, is there anything specifically that you emotionally repressed? And they said, in the nerves, your frontal, what do you call it? The frontal lobe. You may have to mute me on Facebook on there because I can hear me. But the frontal lobe is where we create reality. And there is this a past life where you were infamy. You were bad. Now I'm going to ask, was she really bad? Well, yes, in the terms of what people would call bad, but in this life, but in that life, it was expected. You know, like how the Vikings, this is how you're supposed to do. You're supposed to act this way, be this way, because this is what you're supposed to do. And well, I feel like you had a revelation just before you died. You had a revelation, and there was something you were holding on to. And the action that you did was in your nerves right now, and you're feeling that you can't be compatible. Do you have issues when somebody becomes very lofty, even in the quiet part of themselves, you know, like they're asserting their loftiness in the way of trying to persuade you? Oh yeah, you know, I never get good stuff happen to me. Is like hint, hint.
Okay, like do I feel it from other people or?
Do you do it to yourself or do you feel it from other people? Because again, the best way to see your past life and to resolve it is to look at how it shows up in this life.
Yeah, well, I used to a few years ago, but
Okay.
I feel now I just feel like
Okay.
I'm over it, or like I just know that like before, yeah, I used to just blame like why does the bad things always happen? That used to be my mentality, and now I'm more like, well, like because I feel like it happened because I was stuck in like in the moment, but like I feel like now when I'm just not, you know, like just try to think positive or like
Okay,
move
now
forward.
understand that you agreed, that you recognized it, but the root is still there. So even if you've aged and you have got over it, overcome it, or grown, the part of the soul that wants to grow with you is needing you to notice that you've repressed something and you can't feel it. Now, this is where your higher self wants to begin to trust you. And it says, in order to really take that next step in using your intuition more, how you felt about that information from the past, you also are not quite trusting yourself in making good decisions, especially with your intuition, because your ego. So I'm going to ask you, do you obsess about things?
Maybe yes.
You may not know you are, but when you get treated like an object, you're like, doing your best to process that out and go, excuse me? No. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll have a whole conversation in my head.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. And what that is it's still related to the past life. Okay. And what you learn needs to be unlearned. Now, you had to learn it at the time because you were in a reaction, and that was what was necessary. You needed to experience what irrelevancy, being irrelevant, what it meant. But it wasn't supposed to be a curse. It was supposed to understand that perspective. But instead, what happened is that we've done it so much that we then started to become over-concerned, rehash it, that it started to drive us crazy, as if we're in hell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your nerves are saying that you're getting better at not feeling like you lost power. Okay. Yes. But you haven't stopped the self-abuse, because before you died, and they said that it was at least 8 past lives ago, and I see you as a male figure, the emotions that got dumped was that you felt discouraged about what you did. It's like, what did really happen? You began to question the relevancy of why the action had to occur. So the habit that came from all the lifetimes is that in this one, you said you're ready to start to let go of feeling discouraged. So do you know what discouraged feels like?
Yeah.
And do you know how timid that makes you? It kind of pulls you in a certain direction.
Yes.
That is what your soul is asking you to heal. And if I asked you right now, can you feel that right now at all? You would say,
I have moments. I mean, but I
okay.
try.
What about giving up expectations?
Yeah, I think I give up from other people. I don't know, like I learned to like I don't expect nothing from nobody. I don't know if that's good or.
So here's the thing. I hear you. I want you to cover just the left eye. I want you to think what we just talked about, and how you had to, it wasn't about adapting. You started to readjust your life. So you weren't really fulfilling your best life, but you started to readjust as soon as you started to feel the discouraged and feeling timid. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
When you look through the eye that's open and you're thinking about what I'm saying, what number of feeling timid or discouraged, can you feel it?
Probably like a 3.
When you really look at how you had to change something, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, but I just trust this process, and I'm just going to go in my head. That's the reason you can't get it up as a 3 unless you physically go through that experience. Now remove, transcend, and let it go. Switch eyes, cover up the other eye, through, see the same story. What number is it?
Like a 1,
Yeah, and notice that you can feel how you were running. You ran away.
that's weird.
What number is that?
It's probably like a 2, but it's weird because when I switch eyes, I saw like brighter. I don't know, like.
Yes. We've taken the pictures out. So remove, transcend, and let go. Switch and cover the other eye. And did you feel like you have to run when you see that particular behavior or that particular discouraged?
No, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like
Put it in your words. Know how you know it.
I just feel like I just can't, like I just need to like trust the universe. I don't know.
Okay.
Like
You can talk positive, but I want you to feel the body. See it in your eyes. Okay, I want you to just look through it. What was your last experience that you've ever had? When's the last time you distrusted something?
With my job, like
So if that's the what it is, and you look through, what number is it?
Like a 4.
Notice how you know and feel that distrust. Remove,
Yeah.
transcend, and let it go. Switch eyes. Now, same story. What number is it? How do you know it?
Like it's like a 3, but I don't know. I just, and now I feel like it's weird because now I feel like, okay, I see where the discourage, like
Right. Can you
the
feel a little anxiety
discouragement.
starting? Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Because I see the anxiety. We're just going to say remove, transcend, let it go. Switch eyes, go back over. And do you have anxiety in that eye too? Or no?
No.
Good. Notice, do you feel like it's the same number or what is it now?
No, it's like a 1.
Good. Remove, transcend, let it go. Switch over. And that anxiety, is it still there or what is it?
No, I feel like no, like I just need to like stop stressing, or like it's weird.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
or
healing. You're healing. And beginning to notice you're like, well, I'm stopping myself from becoming who I am based on this thinking or the way that somebody did something. So I started to think, remove, transcend, let it go. And I want you to look back into the other eye and any of that's still there.
no.
And now notice that you've healed that. Does it feel better or feel indifferent? What do you feel?
Like I feel it's weird. Like I feel calm, but it's weird because then I like but then I feel like in my head like a pounding. It's weird.
Okay,
Like
now, yeah, and the pounding has to do with how people use love as a weapon or guilt tripping, or do you understand? There's
yeah.
something there. I know you can feel the anxiety. It's like, I want to do what I want to do, but I can't because somebody else has got this restriction. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Work. Now, and begin to know how you know that, and your body is giving you the messages. We're going to remove, transcend, and let it go. Now, switch eyes and look at the same thing. Does it feel different, or do you feel another emotion, like a heartache? Like, oh, I can't. What do you feel? How do you know?
No, well, I just feel like I feel lighter, but I feel stuck, to be honest. Like
Good, good, good. Remove, transcend, and let it go. Switch back over. Do you have anything in that eye? And do you have any pounding? Do you have any?
no, the pounding in my head went away, but I feel like in my chest.
Good.
Like
Now
short of
notice that you're
breath.
following the message of the anxiety. And we're just going to say, okay, we feel it in our chest. But what if we pull that out and just kind of imagine that we were holding that out in front of us? And you can feel what you felt inside, you're feeling it in your hand, you feel it in front of you. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Now notice that there's a part of you that's like, hold on, I have a fear of being bold. I know I'm bold, but if you really listen to the old you, it's like, what? And so now we're just going to remove, transcend, let it go. Now you're just going to look inside, and is that strange feeling, is it still there, or has it still outside, or has it disappeared now?
No, it disappeared. I just felt like it's weird because I felt like I don't know, like a clear, I don't know, like it was like
You are feeling a healing. Now let's go back to that other eye. Either eye, anything left?
no.
So the question then becomes, do I really need to apply overthinking or obsessionness or rehash it as part of my new part of me? Which is because that's an old personality aspect. Do you need to bring that into the way that you think now?
It's weird. So I'm gonna tell you what I felt. I felt like no, but at the same time, I felt like I heard the word like don't let people have power over you.
Good. Now watch. Part of the habits, that holding on, you're like, but this is never going to happen to me again. But as you start to let go, you can then say, okay, I don't want people to have power over me. Good. What you're going to notice is the moment that they act a certain way, do you need to respond that way? Or can you notice if there's any energy leaving you, call it back? And then can you respond differently than the way you did? So if not, you just say, okay, spirit, I need to heal this out because I really don't want this habit. I really don't want to feel this way. And I really don't want to use this tool to think this way. And what's going to happen is that you can then use like the OMG tool, placing your hand on your forehead, or you can EFT all throughout the body, but you measure it just like you did here. And what happens is that you will slowly change all the reasons why you were giving your power away, and you are going to basically interrupt. And what happens is that the chemical peptide that tells you that you have to act this way begins to resolve out. And then the way you taught yourself, it starts to become a memory. It starts to break the habit. Okay. And then you can go, oh, I held my power. Oh, look, I didn't give the power away. You'll be able to see that you can do it differently. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it's so weird because I just like with my work situation, I just realized because like I let people subconsciously get a reaction. Now I like it click like I try. It's weird because it's like my higher self be trying like don't let them get to you or the. But then in my head, I'm like this motherfucker, you know, like
Exactly. This is what's out of control. This is what's creating all of the things. But if you just do some of the simple tools, just like the one we did here, and you start to do these tools, you'll start measure, you'll start to see how they'll work for you, and you'll see how you can empower yourself by healing yourself. And you won't have to believe all those things, and you won't have to do all the fighting in your head. You literally will make sure your power doesn't go there. And your inner world will start creating a better outer world. And when you get tested, you're going to go, yeah, I don't do that. And you can go act a different way. Okay. But it's that feeling that you got inside that all they have to do is act a certain way. And whoops, you give them what they want.
Yeah. It's so weird because I always, and even like, I know my coworkers would tell me that they're like, you're like a rebel. Like, you don't let people, and I'm like, but I don't want to be, you know, like, because even though like I might fight or whatever, like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to let it bother me.
You're waking up. I feel that the energy of the earth has come in and says, okay, it's time to wake up further. And so in order for you to wake up, you kind of have to see that old pattern and that old personality, which is what you were seeing, but you just didn't have the tools to help you transform. Use the tools. You'll be able to transform your life. And if you use them often, you are going to be able to excel faster, have faster turnaround times. Your consciousness will develop. Okay, so you may want to eventually join the tribe at some point so that you can really get into this. You know, that's what it's there for. It's not required. Yeah. You can just keep doing one-on-ones, but you know,
I'm definitely gonna, I know I gotta reevaluate a lot of stuff going. Yeah. I had a lot of with the kid, but yeah, I need to
but take that witness. Take that witness. Notice you did it. You did it. I just guided, but notice you did it. I want you to feel in your brain, wow, I am thinking so differently than I did before I started.
Oh, definitely.
That's your witness.
And I've seen, I mean, that's why, you know, I always tell my friends, like, and I have them, and I think they're part of your tribe now, but because I told them, like, I saw the difference, like, from the first time you did my reading, like 2.5 years ago, I had got a reading from you, but I know, like, and every time I feel like a little, you know, a bumpers, like, I know, like, I'm not always, but I always try to make sure I see you or I watch your replay and do a little bit, and it definitely has helped.
Good. And the more you witness, the more you hold that frequency, the more the universe is graduating you out of that particular hell. So keep doing it. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing it. I'm glad you got it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, hon.
Thank you for the bye.
Bye. So that's good. That was awesome. That was really good. Now, I think somebody was in the room. Are you still here? If you're still here and you look new, that means that you get 2 minutes. I hope you're here. Angel and Yvette Ramirez. Angel, are you here? Sweetheart, are you here? I like to give an example because I can give you all the words I want, but until your brain and your body, your consciousness experiences it, you won't quite get what I'm talking about. But when you get it, you then can start building upon it even further. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay. All right, Angel, ready? So you're learning to get your wings, and you've learned something that you're ready to unlearn. Your left brain was thinking about disdainfulness and the self-centeredness of people. Now, I don't know if you got caught up in a conversation or if it's just part of the conversation, but look those words up because there's a certain amount of contempt energy that's still there to some degree that keeps you and corrects you and puts you into this position. And then even though this feels like, yes, this is who I am, and then you're like, but no, this is not. I think you had to do what's called keeping up with appearances with some people long time ago. Old habit. That as you're beginning to be this new person, this new spiritual soul, okay, you are learning that I don't have to hide behind something. And if you pay attention, they said that when I don't feel like you've been in that situation in a while, but like older people where you were in the past, they would just like push with their words or berate you or just they don't shut up. They're trying to get their opinion across. And there was a part of you that started to shut down emotionally. Yeah, I can't do that. But you just don't know if you had it in you to walk away at that point, or you're just like, okay. That's where the emotion is. And they said, if you can get that feeling, if you could tap into that feeling, you will notice that it pushes on the fear button and then gets you revved up so that you'll start obsessing so that they can have a conversation. And at the same time, you have this conflict of the suppressed feeling. I don't want to do this. And so you have a conflict that's somewhere going on inside of you. Does that make any sense, Angel? Emily, yes. I will give you a reading. 2 minutes for you, Emily. To be. So I don't know if you've been learning about what vulnerability means. I feel in a way, maybe you have been listening to Byron Katie. No, not that one. There's another one. Can't think of her name. But they're saying you are spiritually being, and at the same time, as you learn to emerge as a spiritual being, there is that part of you that people refer to as the shadow. And in this case, the shadow had to put the mask on because, like, for instance, here you are, hey, I'm being funny. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, oh my God, that was so wrong and stupid. Oh, shame on you. But those, whatever the words, whatever it was when you were younger, bam, you're like, that hurt. That was vulnerability. I got to put, how do they want me to show up? Good manners, good this and that. I said, can you give me a specific age? And they said, when you were 3 years old. And I don't know if you got cursed out a lot, but I feel the energy and I feel these dumps of emotions. And I asked how many. I see 2. They said it affects the way that you create your reality. It's like it's a filter you have to have there. And it's like you have to have this seething feeling of, oh God, I hate that. Oh. And then the other one is you can feel the contempt. Now you have to look these words up because it's there. Now, you've grown, but these filters need to leave because there's a part of you that really wants to dream. That part just says, I want to dream. I want to dream, but I can't because, and this feels like maybe a stuck space. If you can understand any of those, I would tell you the best thing you can do is stop being an object. And if you can define that you feel like any of that, then you can take, they're telling me I can give you left wrist. You're going to hold it up. All right, I'm going to copy her. Left wrist. What else? Put down 3 fingers. 3 fingers under the thumb. Yeah, okay. And then remove the other ones and you put your thumb where that third spot is. Put your pointer in the fatty part. Now this here has to do with pushing deep. So you got L3D. Then you're going to place it like this. And you're going to sit there, and what registered? If one, none, or all, whatever, it registered, it's familiar. Just sit with it in this position, measure that feeling on a scale from 0 to 10, and you can amp and ramp yourself because you can bring up memories, or you can wait and then spirit will just have somebody appear and all of a sudden you'll feel it. And you're like, oh, there's the feeling. Okay, for you, it's L3D, and you're like, yeah, I'm done being an it. I don't need to be an object. I'm done. Because most relationships in the past, not just saying yours, I'm saying others, was based on the fact that, I was an object in my marriage and before, and it was their call all the time. And the object of, you're supposed to do as I say, not as I do, all of these things. Oh, yes, exactly. Like you with the tree. Yeah. And but you can move these things on and clear them out. Okay. So you guys have been great. Thank you so much for being here. If there's anybody else here before I go, if you're new, you get 2 minutes. If you are here and you just want a 1 minute before I go, I'll wait just a second and I'll do it. Now, usually I give Thor one. So I think she's off working. So we're going to give Thor one as well. So let's just put that in there. Miss Thor. Today, it feels like they're breaking all the rules. I hear suspicious, and there's a dump of energy that causes you to take action and to distrust. Now, this is definitely past life, but it shows up when you're about 1. I'm looking about how it sits in your back of your neck. It's C6. And there's a contract that you feel like you have to be discouraged. I want you to know what discouraged feels like and what does it mean. What does it mean and what can you do about it? And they said, once you do, you're going to do R2D and feel deprived. That's what the discouraged was supposed to be, to give you that deprived feeling. Then look at the deprived feeling. And then when you feel like it's about gone, rip up the contract and watch it disappear. That's what I would do. And Emily, I thought I gave you one. What's the timestamp from the timestamper? So did Yvette, did she ask? Because if, or did I already give one? Heck if I know. Answer if I should. There's the list. There's the list. If you want to, there's a list. Emily, you're at 152. I just gave it. So once this is up, done, you can go look at it, okay? And hopefully it'll make sense. Spirit tells me I have to look at something, which I am. Ah, yes. Nita. Would you like me to give you a link? Do you want to do it like this? How do you want it done, my dear? Let me know. How would you like that done? Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see. Looking for, what am I looking for? Oh, that's what I'm looking for, so I can read it. Link, gotcha. Getting to the right screen. And we go here. Do you remember if you ever go like when? No, yeah, you go Nita here. Yes. I have to always remember how you. Okay. There, we'll take care of that. So it's been a good day. It has been a very good day. You know, I kind of regret doing the color there. Let's get the mic on. Let's see what happens. And
Okay.
hey, I can hear you. Yay.
Hi.
Hi, how can I help you, hon?
All right. I know Spirit is saying, just tell me what I need to know. I know it's most likely going to be linked to working with what I'm dealing with currently at the moment.
They're saying the right side of your body. This has to do with your yang energy, about how to exert yourself. They said that there's a part of your right side of the body that's chasing something that's old, and you're not even aware that that's happening. But he said, but if you pay attention that you're obsessing, and the obsessing, and then there's some depriving. Does that thought of obsessing and depriving, does that make sense?
Obsessing for change, depriving for what I want deep within, if we're going on that kind of a deep level.
Now, what's happening is why is that holding into place? And they said that it's a good thing you've asked, because in the emotional part, your left brain, when you're about 2 years old, they're saying that if you really were to look at your neck around C4, I don't know if you've always had an annoyance on one side, but it feels like you are already retracting in about compatible or incompatible situations. And I feel that there's a certain amount of self-consciousness. So did you ever feel self-conscious when you were doing things, and kind of when you felt that, if you were even aware that you actually brought somebody in to discourage you even further?
Every day, actually.
Oh,
It's funny
okay.
to say that. I was conversating with a friend, and she was saying something about her C3 and C5. And then I was telling her I've been having pain in my neck around the same area. And then I heard C4 in my head.
Good. Okay. Well, sorry about that, but good. What I feel is that you know what awkward feels like. Is that true?
Yeah.
Now, what you're doing is your body's saying, I'm holding on to this because I ain't going to let that shit happen to me again. Okay. But
Okay.
being that you're 2 years old, I said, is this really yours? And they said, look again. And I said, all right, C4. And they said, it's in the nervous system, and it has to do with a deep-seated pain. And it has to do with manipulation. Okay. It was in a chuckle.
Yeah.
What do you know? And how do you know it?
Because that's what I'm working on.
Okay. Now you're going to have to notice that you've memorized it by firing and wiring and thinking so much that you stored it here. Now I said, is there any other way you've stored it? And I said, there's another dump that's connected to the story. Okay. And I said, what's the chemical peptide dump? And they said has to do with I want to heal. And then all of a sudden it's like, but the habits won't let you. So then you go back to the left brain. Your limbic system says again that I'm going to get disapproval if I be bold and have my healing. And it's going back again to the deep-seated pain. It's causing my head to itch. But you're developing, you're going into a developing stage. Okay, the strangest part is I felt like I had a wig on. I thought if I just lifted, my hair would just come right off. So did you know somebody that had a toupee or a wig when you were young?
I didn't know them personally, but my mom always told me about her 2 aunts that were bald.
Okay, so somehow the story of that, which had an energy field, you took that on as your own, as a conditioning.
No. Okay.
That's what we did. But you weren't supposed to feel it really then. You had this indifference feeling, but your body memorized it. You memorized it because it was always what was talked about. You were supposed to activate that particular part when you turned about 17.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I feel like at around that age is when, not that I took a turn for the worse, but I fell asleep.
Right, you readjusted because you're like, you couldn't make something stop, and you're like, fine. And then all of a sudden you readjusted, not adapted, and not invent yourself, but you took another detour because, and I asked, was it something so devastating that it caused a bitch slap? They go, no, it was a readjustment. And it was a habit. And I said, was it something else new you're holding on to? They go, no, it is how your nerves are holding on to. It's not going to happen to me. And I said, what are you trying to tell me? What's not going to happen to you? And they said, the stress, it's not going to happen to me. It's stress. It's unfair. But it did happen. It did percolate to the top because that's all they talked about. It's all you knew. So is that true? What kind of environment did you, I mean, it sounded normal to you at first, but
It is normal. Oh my God.
Okay.
It was just my upbringing.
Okay. Now, again, we're not blaming them, but
no, they did the best they could.
Right. But they had to set you up to be this great healer that you don't even know you're becoming yet, but you know, to some degree.
I always knew. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that feeling state. So when you meet a person like you or whatever it is you had on your journey and you get to meet them, you are going to know how to connect with them. And you're going to be this awesome healer. Why? Because you know you don't have to come to them as lofty. You don't have to. And I'm going to stress this. Have you watched other healers and I think you've been collecting a catalog of life and going, nope, ain't yeah, acting like that. Nope. Okay, yeah, maybe that.
Yeah.
Because I know I can tell you at work because you have shared something. The fact is that you're starting to see how to approach people in completely, and that's what's called the kaleidoscope of perspectives of life. And you are learning how to feel differently, how to respond differently. And you're watching people as programs respond to you in a healthier way. So
yes,
you don't have to run anymore, but you haven't let go.
No, I haven't.
If we can allow yourself to let go, will you let go? And they said slowly. And I said, well, what do you want to let go? And they goes, well, the nerves are saying, if you can catch the flippant talking, which was part of the old idea, you're trying to have a new idea with the old idea. Okay. And then the flippant speaking, and I think it's probably why we talked about it today. I don't know if you heard the beginning of it, but the idioms.
Yeah.
Okay. You're supposed to know when you start talking flippantly, because to you, it may just be association and it just may be information or some way to just natterly talk.
Yes.
But it owns your ass because it's telling you that you had this growing up and you need a new idea, but you need to take and resolve this out to get that new idea, that third option. I said, okay, now that she has this information, they go, whoo. I said, okay, good. They're saying there's a memory. And I said, pictures, sound, feeling, taste, smell. Where are we at then? A memory. A borrowed memory. It's not even yours. Okay, so you borrowed a story, you borrowed a memory, and it's okay to borrow them when you're communicating, talking, and using analogies, but it goes like this story. Okay, so you watched and you observed your mama. She cuts the ends off the ham and sticks it in the pan and preps it prettily, and out comes wonderful dinner. So now you're getting older and you get a ham, you cut off the ends, you put it in a pan, you make it pretty, and out comes dinner. And then your husband or whoever comes up and goes, hey, why are you doing that? Why do you cut off the ends of the ham? You're like, that's a stupid question. My mother did it. Well, let's ask her. Well, that's a stupid question. I don't know. My mother did it. Let's ask her. My pan was too small. Get a bigger pan. Sometimes we just don't know why we do things. Okay, yeah. So we don't have to copy. Learning to question, learning to think that maybe that's all they could do. That's all that they had. And these paradigms is all they had. You got new ones. We're meant to write new ones. You and I are meant to write new ones. Do you understand?
I do. It makes me think about my situation yesterday, because things were supposed to go to the higher uppers because a situation I was handling then went above my head. And I have to express myself, because if I don't, then it stays inside. I can't have it stay inside. I have to let it out. And so my boss was just like, oh, you're too much. You need to stop and calm down. I was like, no, I need to let it out. And so I went and I smoked my cigarette, calm my tits. But then today she had me go into the office and she was like, you were really too much yesterday and I couldn't handle it. And you made me not want to come into work. And, she was just saying all this stuff. And then I just let her finish. And then when she was done, and I was like, so you let me have that much power over you? You shouldn't let someone like me do that to you. Never allow that to happen. I'm
Holy,
sorry you felt that way, but I hear you. And I will work on my vocal, on my words and expressing myself in a more healthy manner.
wow. I've got major goosebumps all on my right side. It's like it divided me right in half. It says, "Ooh, she's right on target." And then it went over to my left, and I feel like it's starting to integrate. You're starting to get it. You're starting to oh, that is so good. Thank you, Spirit, for taking care of her. Oh my God.
Your classes are really helping, Brenda. I'm telling you. So I'm working on the manipulation. That's always going to be a part of me.
Right,
But
right.
it's one of my what we call powers. But there is a sense of being able to use it in a good form.
Yes, yes. Sleight of mouth.
Yes.
Manipulate once you get, now here's the thing, manipulation. Once you understand, it's not that you have to do it, you're afraid that you're going to get rid of it, or you don't, what's going to happen is when you start to develop the new you are going to be able to hold yourself in a different respect. You're going to hold other people in a different respect, that when you want something done, you will have that ability. If you have to use it for whatever reason, okay, your spirit will show you that you don't just take and look at the bad stuff and go, okay, now we don't ever do it. But you look at it and you're taking that and you're like, but I know that I got it in me that I can take care of it. It's like, if I didn't know I could walk, I wouldn't be able to walk up to Mount Kosciuszko. But I could walk. I didn't judge it. I didn't think about it. And when I got there, I'm like, no. And then it was like, okay, so then I climbed it. We walked and I saw what I was made of. And one of the things that I've learned with my husband is that, damn girl, you don't ever give up. And when doesn't matter if you're in pain, you already know that by the time you get done, you've done it. And he says, oh, I'm just so proud of that in you. And it's like, I've never seen that before in me. So sometimes you need to know that you can do it. You don't have to lose power and you don't have to use that. But sometimes you have to diffuse certain things. I'm not saying it's okay to do all these things all the time, but when you start to shift from ego to your spiritual human aspect, you're going to find the wisdom in all of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sleight of mouth. Sleight of mouth. I mean, you're thinking, well, when you think of sleight of mouth, you're not hurting the person. And it's like the story of the woman that had to go to a domestic abuse thing and the TV comes flying out and the cop goes, whoa. And then so she knocked on the door and she goes, TV repairman. And all the fighting just kind of stopped. And then all of a sudden you hear, what? Somebody said, what? And then it diffused it so much so that it changed the way people saw things. I know you've done it because you told me what happened at work sometimes, and it's like it changes. So you don't have to use the old way of manipulating. You can bring in that new part of you. Okay?
Okay.
You got this. You got this. You really do. And I said, is there anything else? And I said, just let her re-listen to this. Because her happiness, she'll get it out of the sadistic, masochistic thing, and you'll bring that home, and you'll start creating a new way with your third option, and you get to keep your joy, and somebody won't have to remove it. Okay?
Yes.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's all part to you. You mean you've helped. So thank you, Brenda. I mean,
together we'll make a difference.
That's all I can say.
Yes. Yeah. I would like more people in tribe. Really would too. All right. Bye, hon.
Bye.
Okay, so we have another person and I need to go find her. And okay, there we go. Oops, that ain't right. I have to type in Nikki and it come out Mickey. I'm like, no, wrong one. Oh, wait, do you go by, no, you go by that. Why isn't it, why aren't you showing it? Oh, I see what I did. There you are. There it is, there it is. Here we go. And dun dun. Okay. Oh, ooh, she had a question. I wonder what we'll be talking about. Hold on here. She might have to explain it out loud if she wants to do that one. We'll see.
Hello.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hey. Good. Well, I have a cold, so I'm okay.
A cold usually will represent when your body has either copied the level of consciousness in how everybody's doing things in a negative space. Sometimes you can have, I'm just going to look.
Yeah.
Just gonna look.
I'm sure I'm in trouble. I'm probably in trouble.
Nah, cancel, clear that word. All right, here's the thing. What is her story of her body? And usually when you take any type of disease, comfort, any of that, there's a pattern. So I'd say, how many meridians are involved? They said there's 4 meridians. And it just, oh my God, a cold can feel like it's the curse. Okay, so if I said curse, do you have a definition of what that feels like?
I would say burden. I don't know.
Okay. No, that's when you look at it. Now, as soon as you said it, they said they'll take it because down in the lower lumbar area, not lumbar, thoracic, they're showing me that the 10, there is a story. And you're playing stuff out right now. So this is kind of like a natural occurrence with you at this point. This cold goes along with the way you have to karmically balance or put up with certain type of shit, or you keep doing something that is shitty.
Yeah. So yeah, yesterday I wasn't pleased with myself. I went down to the 3D level with someone. I woke up with a cold.
Okay. So do you know what the main topic is?
Yeah, it's at control.
Okay, because here it says lofty, but yeah. So, and it's about the power of expanding. You're testing to see if you can go further. And what happens is the energy in the space is, no, you have to go back to old pattern. And I said, okay, so let's look at these 4 meridians. They said liver, stomach, and the liver says lack of power. The stomach says, I have to procrastinate. And then it says small intestine says I have to give up expectations. And then the circadian, the pericardium says that I have to self-preservation. So did you lose power yesterday?
Well, to me, I did because I don't get down to the lower levels, but I felt like I just
You
had
did a
enough
lot.
and I mirrored on purpose.
Oh,
So
yes.
I did it on purpose, and I was disappointed in myself.
Okay, so here's the one thing I want you to know. If I were to muscle test you right now, and I said, are you Nikki? No. But reclaim your name right now 3 times and reclaim it, because as you begin to mirror back, they said, why? And they says, well, let's go back to that liver, the lack of power. When you take yourself back in that situation, could you feel anywhere along your body that it felt like something was spiraling out like a vortex from you to them?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where was it? Head? Where was it?
Honestly, I felt like the head and like the stomach area.
Good. Now, no, up at the head, what color was it?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you do. Let's just sit there and relax. Go back to that second.
Okay.
Feel how it's leaving and just say, what color are you?
Green.
Good. Now go down and ask what color that one was.
Red.
Now, when we look at this one, this says that this is something that you're holding on to. So you're on a chase. And I said, can you tell me what she was holding on? Impending. I know this shit's going to happen. Impending. Okay. So you're like, but I ain't going to let this happen again. And I'm like, what is it that you're really holding on to? And they said, the lack. You know that this situation is going to happen again. You've tried this. Nope. You're going to go back, try this. Nope. Didn't have it. And understand that when you had to solve it the first time. And I said, so this end result of this emotion was around 3 years old. And the emotion that's on your nerves says you're supposed to be discouraged. Now, over time, you're like, yeah, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to grow up and I'm going to not be discouraged and F you. But we need to go back to that root of that seed. Okay. So the reactions that you developed and what you did, it wasn't really something new. You says, all right, I want this to stop, so I'm going to try this. Nope, that didn't work. And what happens is your subconscious mind will go back to the very first time it solved it. Okay. And if that means you had to lose power, then you'll have to lose the power because you have to solve it. Do you understand? So you're gonna you keep trying. So you age and you keep trying and you do and you feel like you've gotten really far, and then all of a sudden, bam, just takes 1 second, you're back there again. Okay. So you don't want something to happen again, and that was the injustice. So when you're having a conversation, can you feel the injustice?
Absolutely. Yes.
Does it spark you to want to do self justification, or do you feel like you've got to teach them a lesson?
Both.
Okay,
both.
so that's how far you've gotten. Okay.
Yes.
So instead of just being a reaction, you've gotten that far.
No,
So
I want to, like, I'll explain my emotions, but it's sort of like yours don't matter, because this is yesterday what I was told what pushed me over the edge was, well, I was touching you because in my past other women would say no, but then I'd end up with them at the end of the night in bed. So like, you have to understand where I'm coming from, that so I took it as like, it should be okay to touch you because other women say no, but then I end up in the sack with them at the end of the night.
Yeah, and that's like going, I mean, you're waking up and you're like, what? That's a paradigm that's got to go.
Yeah. So it was like that kind of, or you're not letting, and I'm like, what? This is objectification. This is
Right. But the words, what's in, and thing is that you're starting to wake up. And I remember this was like intentionally by your soul to some degree. And I just will tell you why. Because when you start to wake up, I woke up when it was just a comedy show. And then I was like, holy shit, it's happening right here. And as I was trying to confront or talk or communicate, it was like I was the biggest joke in the room. And they were trying to, they're asleep. So they're trying to, self-justify. But all it did was made me feel helpless. And they said, that's why you got sick. And they said that you're learning to making sure you don't forget this because they want you to wake up. Okay. But you can start to let go of the injustice. Now I said, well, what do you want her to do? They said, well, they would like you to, after you get done, do L1D so you can work on that insecurity. Okay. Because you had just enough insecurity that something like, what? Okay. They said that they want you to do is we're going to use a magnet on both sides. Okay, where? There and there. Is that it? Okay. So you're going to use the magnet or your hand, however it is, and the lung point here, you're going to use it here, but I would just whip it all across, get all three. Why not?
Okay.
So do that right now with me.
I'm doing it. And Brenda, earlier I did like L1D. I did L1D, I did L2S, and I did L3D or L3S. And then, so I've been working on this because this keeps popping up. And then I got sick after.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because I said, all right, I'm going to ask while you do that. Then when you're done, I want you to rub that, and then I'll show you the next point. so did all that rubbing and did all that healing, did it affect you to become sick? And they said, actually, no. But what happened was that the action of that night, you kept mulling over something that you couldn't see. That was part of your awakening. And that is what seems to come up, because you're showing me that you're still doing a chase and you were doing old hat, and that's where a cold came up. And it had a lot to do with disapproval. It's something to do with around the word disapproval. You may have disapproved, he may have disapproved, but the point is the common ground was, where is the, you need my approval, all of it. So there's an argument there. Do you understand? And there is where you're doing your best you're hanging on to that piece, because you're supposed to wake up, but you're also hanging on to that piece because there's pain. And I said, is that a common ground of the disapproval? And they said, yes, it sits on the nerves. And that's what you were holding on to. And then you're like, I'm never going to trust. So now we got another story that you can actually begin to change. Because you're like, I don't have to give up my expectations anymore. You do. Whereas before, when you're younger, you were taught that you had to. And because the paradigm is getting ready to leave, you're standing up saying, no. So good on you.
Right.
Okay, so under here, it's not straight down and it's not straight down, it's on an angle. So follow underneath your boobs. Okay, get in there and just tap away. Okay, so you will do the 4 thumps to help your body to repair quickly. And usually it's on the top of the cheekbones. Follow out the bone, or come to the bone, or where my necklace is in the way, but it'll dip into the hole. Just slides right in. So right there, you get in there and you tap them and rub them, and the top of the head, or you can do this one. It could be 5. You need the tsunami. So you do this one, and then you come down here and do this one. But you have to unlock this one. Down here is where you use the magnet on both sides, and then you're going to rub those spots. You need to unlock your, because again, the 4 pattern, you can take any disease and you can watch and look for an earmark. Okay. Anything. And this earmark says that these have to take the polarity, and it has to tweak them enough so you don't get that flow, so that you can go into a particular story. Okay. Oh, see, whatever you just did now, that was releasing.
Oh, I did the 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the thing is, I'm not in her space, and I'm not her. I'm not proxying. It's just that I got confirmation that she did something, because my side went whoa, 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 and that's usually what's an entanglement cord. You get spooky theory or spooky story on it. A refrigerator magnet, yes. I love to use those ones that are not bulky, because they're the flat ones, which, oh, come on. I took it out and used it on myself in the other room. But anyways, just regular magnets that stuck on the fridge. Those don't have to be high Gauss or anything. So, and it works just great.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that before I go to bed. I have to grab one from the refrigerator.
Okay. Or you can just use your hand, but sometimes it's just easier just to get because you can swipe it faster.
Yeah.
All right. You go and get dressed.
Thank you.
Go heal yourself, and you're waking up. Be proud of that body. We're going to heal that too. And we're going to get some of that stuff out of you. That's what you're doing. You're healing yourself. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Brenda.
And thank you for suggesting TikTok. Yes, I will be hitting you up on that, maybe for as far as like doing some readings or something. I don't know, because I got to figure it out. And I feel like that's where I'm supposed to go next to.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, dear.
All right. We'll get it done.
Stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.
We can learn a lot together when it comes to that. We can really learn. I'm excited. There's just so much to do in this academy. Like writing the classes, they're not easy, but they are full of chunk of information. But like learning about earmarks, learning about how to find them. And those 2 gals are really moving forward. Oh, I see an Amanda. Let's see here. Headache's finally gone. Oh, good. You can get a 1 minute read. Absolutely, Amanda. Okay. You've been on a journey, and fear and suspicious, they're very habitual. I said, together? They said, well, yeah. And then it sits on the nerves. I said, okay. They said the energy in the environment. No, the energy in the body, energy in the body, in the nerves, on the nerves, sorry, said that you're going through a particular dark night of the soul, and you know it as running from, and you know how to put yourself to sleep, running from and put yourself back to sleep, and it feels like all the effort is unreceived. And they said, it's okay, because you're getting there, you're learning those little things, and you're waking up even further. And they said that if you can help yourself self-regulate that, even if you're not sure what you're doing, a little L2S can go such a long ways on helping yourself do this, because you got to learn a new coping tool, because the old one is not serving you at all anymore. And you're like, I don't know how to have empathy for myself, or empathy in that energy. I'm just watching you go right back to sleep. Okay, so you can do that. You can do this. Get to the right screen, see if there's anybody else in the room. Let's see. Oops. Slowly, surely. Here we go. I need to catch up. Thank you. Oh, okay, excellent. We will find you on there. I'm learning about hashtags. I'm learning about the videos of how to do it, because it's really, you know, it's easy, but it's not easy. So it looks like it can be exciting. Miranda, your L2D is at an 8. You have to look at how you readjust. It's just an automatic thing. You don't even know you do it. You have to ask Spirit, show me. Oh, tap on my shoulder. Yeah, there, I did it. Whether it was through words or through other language. L2S is a 7, and there's a chemical dump that still sits there, and it forces you to take certain action and makes you believe certain things. R2D is at a 5, and that is where it feels like it's a curse. And it's the way you believe in that one. You believe, and so there's a lot of emotion stuck in that. Okay. Yes, your 1 minute, I believe. Let me see if I can get to the list. Where is at 101. Okay, so you'll have to go back, Bobby, to that, to the 101. Okay, and I've got to put up the rest of the list of the names. You guys have been awesome. You've been great. And oh, thank you, Miranda. Oh, Amanda says, thank you. Awesome. I definitely feel the momentum moving forward, but really do notice the falling back to sleep. Yeah, you're getting on that tire and you're floating out on that wave, but you're waking up and paddling back in. Next time, let's see if we can get you a motorboat so that you can get the turnaround times faster. For people that doesn't understand what I mean by the wave, it is part of when you start to awaken, and then all of a sudden you have to go and adventure out and get a feel, a habit, a belief, a pattern. And as you start to spiritually awake to see it, you know, you won't know it when you'll be out there. Some people, it'll be like the one girl, she says, oh, it's a freaking tsunami that threw me in there, and I'm still in it. And then I think when we were talking to you, you were like, I think I'm on a tire out and floating and drifting off. But the turnaround times, and you'll start to float back to the shore where the consciousness meets. But remember, the key between your spirituality and your physical is the motions, and it's energy and motion, and it is locked into the receptor cells, you know, in our cells, and it's in the subconscious mind, and we can tap into that. You have the ability to. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, good. We're all going to take our time and learn that app. Hey, we're going to do it together. And I love the fact, Amanda, you're learning that you're waking up over and over and just get throughout the day. Okay, remember your turn, be proud of yourself, because before you started this journey, you probably were asleep for years and didn't know it. Because I've seen some real growth in you. This is not the fun part, but it's okay. It does happen. You're not alone, and we'll get there. And Bobby, you know, sending out prayers for your child and yourself and a lot of things. You know, you can get there. You can get there. You just have to turn some of those emotions around so they're not bothering you or affecting you in the way that you think and feel. I have no idea what the reading was like. Hopefully it was good. We'll see. Thank you. Amanda, I like your hair and the necklace. Okay. I was just going to have it underneath. Well, I got some accidentally on the ends. I'm like, no, I went to rinse it off. And then my hair was down and then it dripped. And it turned out, I'm like, oh, this is how it turned out. Yeah, it's not bad. Otherwise, it's not anywhere here. It's all was supposed to be like the hideaway. It's supposed to be all underneath, but it's so dark in some places. And so I've been trying to decide whether I like it or not. Bobby says I have this weird thing going on. Oops. I fall asleep all during the day. It happens when I'm driving and I get out of my bed and do stuff. Well, okay, one, I'm certain that there probably is some meridians that are not, the energy is not moving. So that's what we call stuck polarity or polarity issues. And number two, you'll probably have to do a certain circadian rhythm points. So you'll have to look at the jet lag or circadian rhythm and that healing tool is on my wall. But you can start to rub at certain points and start to feel a little better. Take yourself to the next step so you don't have to keep repeating certain things, because when you do that, as long as you're catching it, and then use a healing tool, then you won't be firing and wiring and putting yourself back to sleep. You'll actually get over the hump or bring yourself out of the wave and back into where you can, you know, start to live life again. All right, you guys are great. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to double check to make sure I haven't missed anybody. Nope, we're all good there. And let's keep growing and healing together, and we'll get there. We just be more patient. I'm getting there with the classes. Right now, Tribe is open, and you guys are getting stuff out of it. Because it's kind of evolving into something different. Amanda says, there's something going on with the energy shifts. I know a good amount of people that can't sleep at night and can't get out of bed during the day. Yes, absolutely. That's part of usually it's a part of how, if you can take and understand like the meridians that are going on in your day, because the time shifts are completely different all over the world. So if you were to look at the circadian rhythms and notice the ones that are at the peak and you're starting to fall asleep, you have to, part of you says, oh, I don't want to participate in this new shift, or I don't want to, I have to download, and I can't be conscious when I'm installing it. But you'll have sun flares and you'll have the earth, Mother Earth responding. And as these two start to redo the code, taking and clearing out the old encoding, which is also what we have to do, and the new code comes in, a lot of you are not going to be able to participate with your life because one way or the other, your nerve says, I can't handle it. Like me, I've gotten to the point where I can handle it. So when there's a shift, my body goes, oh, okay, or doesn't know it. But in the old days, it was like, oh, hold on, you know, I always blamed it because I was so tired. But for me, now when I feel those big shifts, it just, whew, I'm awake. Like today, it was like, I woke up at 6:30 and it's like, but I can sleep in for a few hours. Yeah, let's go play. All right, what do we got now? And it's like, ooh, and I did learn something new. And I just get thrilled. But your nervous system has to be prepared for it. And if you can't quite get it ready energetically, emotionally, then sometimes you have to sleep and you have to download in a certain way. And so it's all good. It's all good. All right, you guys are great. And I will see you guys later. So what do I say? Resolve to evolve. You're understanding more and more that when you do that, you can heal instead of deal with it. And when you heal it instead of deal with it, you learn that wait a minute, I can heal that shit. Whoop, grab a tool, heal it out. And you're going to find out that you're so worth it. And you're going to be able to do the best thing ever. And that is stay blessed.